What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and I quickly wanted to apologize in case the audio is not necessarily the best. I am recording this from a different place, but in this video, I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock, do some in-depth technical analysis, and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off the technicals, based off the charts, and based off the latest deliveries report. Now, before I talk about what Tesla may do for Tuesday when the market opens, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 10 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500. And the best part is, out of those 10 free stocks, 5 of them are going to come from the wheel right over here. This means that you're guaranteed 5 free Tesla shares, 5 free Apple shares, or a mix of the different ones from this wheel in this limited time offer that ends in just 2 weeks. So please check it out before they run out. This is free money. I don't know what you're waiting for. Check it out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, obviously this thing's up about 1.24%, a little bit red in the after hours, and I want to talk about why on earth the latest deliveries report may actually lead to something very strange. So Tesla right now, from a technical standpoint, just based off technical analysis alone, it does look bullish. It does look like it wants to push up, but there's a problem with that. And the fact that when it comes to deliveries, Tesla did not necessarily meet original expectations, right? Tesla did not have the best deliveries report. I just have to be honest with you guys. And this is a very good shorting opportunity for Wall Street. So it really depends on how much they want to short it. So when the news and the fundamentals look bearish, but the technicals look bullish, which is more likely to kind of trump the other, and that is the news. Because even if a stock is on an upward trend, it looks super bullish from a technical basis. If some big piece of news comes out, right? If Elon Musk announces something big, hypothetically, it could still cause the stock price to drop pretty hard. And that's the reason why I do think that downside is more likely to come tomorrow. And I want to actually give you more context about this. Even if it doesn't come, I do think, and I think it's very likely we're going to see more downside later in July as well during earnings. So let me make this very simple for you. So I talked about how we had this inverse head and shoulders. It was actually looking pretty strong at one point. So technically, Tesla could get a push up to about like $700 if the technicals allow that. But here's the thing: the problem is the deliveries report came out, and Tesla kind of fell short to some degree, and that could cause the stock price to drop. It probably will, in my opinion. Let's actually talk about it once again, real quick. I made a video about this 2 days ago. You could check that out if you haven't seen more details, if you want more details. But, anyways, they delivered 254,000 electric vehicles in the second quarter of 2022. Now, that is an improvement compared to last year. In the second quarter, they had 201,000. But when you look at the context, it's not that great because if you go to Q1, the first quarter of 2022, right, the quarter before this one, we had about 310,000 vehicles delivered. So there, we went from 310,000 in Q1 to about 254,000 in Q2. The reason why we declined is because from April 1st, 2022 up until May 30th, we had the lockdowns in China, and that really slowed down the Shanghai Gigafactory. Tesla did bounce back for June 2022 because they did break their monthly delivery record for that month, but overall it is still a little bit in the red. Now, when it comes to expectations from Wall Street, remember the original expectation was 310,000. Wall Street wanted us to get 310,000. Big analysts wanted that. And then they realized Tesla would not even come close to that. So they ended up lowering it to about 250,000. Other analysts said 260,000. Sorry, my numbers are just all over the place. Right here, 250,000 was another one of the expectations. So I mean, some expectations were met, but we only met expectations because they were dropped like crazy. Before, analysts wanted us to see 310,000, we only got about 250,000. So they lowered expectations right before, like a day before, and we ended up missing. So the reason why this is kind of bearish for Tesla for the month of July is because not only will the market see a lot of earnings, not only will the Fed perhaps raise the federal funds rate again, not only are we going to get the second quarter GDP report and all this data, but also Tesla has earnings. The earnings report is coming out for July 20th, 2022. This is significant because on this day, the data comes out. On this day, we're going to find out what was Tesla's revenue, what was Tesla's earnings per share. And I really believe that it's not going to look that great compared to the last quarters. Now, is it Tesla's fault? No, it's not their fault. Remember, this happened because of global chip shortages, lots of supply constraints, and also because of the lockdowns in China. So it's not Tesla's fault. This is happening, though, as a result because of the less deliveries we got, we're probably going to see a drop in revenue. We're going to probably see a drop in EPS, and that's going to be a very important metric when it comes to Tesla, kind of continuing its growth because big businesses, big analysts, big investors look at this data and they're not going to like it if they see a drop in EPS, regardless of what the situation was. So, with that said, right? The month of July does seem, particularly the second half of July, it seems more bearish than bullish for Tesla and the overall market, but more for Tesla. Now, for tomorrow, though, what do I think is going to come? Considering the data and our historical performance in situations like these, we had a decrease in overall deliveries per quarter for Q2 compared to Q1. Q1 of this year was 310,000. This quarter was 254,000, so a decrease. So because of that, because of how Wall Street could take advantage of this, it's very likely there could be a slight push up into open. Who knows? Maybe we even fill the gap since it does look kind of bullish from a technical standpoint. Maybe we push up a little bit for the first like 30 minutes, then the market kind of dumps and Tesla ends up dumping pretty hard. And I do think downside seems more imminent. I really think that's very likely to happen. And I have to remind you, if it doesn't happen that quickly, it will most likely happen by the second half of July. Now, I want to show you a Fibonacci retracement chart. And this is kind of like a really good indication of what Wall Street could be trying to do, what big businesses, big institutions, and algorithms are looking out for. So if I zoom out, I start from the bottom from June, and I'm doing this from a more micro perspective. I'm not actually zooming out all the way from months out. I'm just going to do it for the last couple of weeks. And what you'll notice is when you go from the bottom to the top in this Fibonacci retracement chart, we've highlighted the golden pocket right here. And when you zoom in, let me zoom in just a little bit. I'm also using 2 hour candles just to make this clear, but you'll notice Tesla has been like kind of trying to bounce around the golden pocket. This is a indication that we have some demand right here. Some algos are kind of buying from some institutions. But what could happen is a common retracement zone is that 0.786 retracement. See this 0.786? Let me try to zoom into it. I don't know if I can make the numbers bigger. I haven't tried that. I apologize if the number is small right here, but we have the 0.786 retracement, which would bring Tesla to $652. Now, here's the interesting thing. The gap Tesla has is very close to that. Let me actually zoom into it. Remember this gap I've been talking about for a while? It's very likely this gap gets filled relatively soon. So right here, we have this gap, right? The gap is at around 653. So right below that, we have the 0.786 retracement, which could be an area we get somewhat of a bounce, but typically the bounces don't have to be perfectly in that area. So the key zone that I'm going to look out for, or at least just pay very close attention to, would be this range right here, this 0.786 to 0.885 retracement zone. This could be where the algos try to take over. Let me just highlight it real quick around here. So this could be the point that Tesla ends up kind of retracing to, and we will bounce if the algos take over, if Wall Street starts like buying a bunch of shares. But if they don't do that, if they want to dump this thing harder and start shorting even harder, they could push it even lower. All right. So right now, this is the key zone that I'm looking at between 640, 652. And it really depends on big money from this point. What do they really want to do? Are they going to start retracing? Are they so bearish to the point where they just want to dump the stock? Because if we don't hold 640, the next key zone would be 626, right? Right over here. And if that doesn't hold, then this thing could drop all the way down to like the 600s, the low 600s, I mean. So I actually drew out the exact same lines right here just to make it clear to you. So what am I essentially predicting for the future, for tomorrow? Let me zoom into this for a second. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so from a technical standpoint, it looks bullish. Not going to lie, just technical analysis alone is showing that we might get a bit of a push up. I already kind of broke down the technical indicators on Friday, so I'm not going to do it in as much detail. What could happen, just this is just based off technicals, we get a slight push up into open, kind of like this. We fill the gap in the 700s, then we kind of dump after. This thing slowly starts to kind of stay in this zone. It holds up this range from the inverse head and shoulder. Then we start dumping slowly near the end of the day due to the news that came out, or something like this, right? I do think downside is more likely after the deliveries report that came out. So we could see a move kind of like this. But if we don't get that pop, and that's the thing, I mean, technicals kind of show that, but I can't guarantee that because of the news. So I'm going to talk about how this could be the more kind of bullish possibility. A more bearish possibility that I think is actually more likely is we actually dump into open after that report and we kind of bleed off throughout the rest of the day because this could just be another really good shorting opportunity, another opportunity for Wall Street to reaccumulate those shares. And I want to see this thing bounce off that 653. Maybe it's going to fill the gap, and if we don't get that bounce, I'm sorry, not 653, 652, that's where the 0.786 retracement is, but that's very close to the gap. And if Wall Street is aggressive, they might push it all the way down to the 640s. That's also possible, maybe even lower than that if they want to be that aggressive. Now, there is one weird thing though, and that is the overall market does look kind of bullish. So we're in a situation where the market looks like it could be more on the bullish side and Tesla looks like it could be on the bearish side. But the market has been running in unison. So what's possible is Tesla could actually drag the whole market down. That's how big Tesla is. It's possible for something like that to happen. So the market, I mean, to me personally, the market does look like it could close green, but Tesla looks like it's going to close red because of the news. So I'm hoping for a nice bounce off 640. If that's not the case, let's actually go over the key demand, support, and resistance zones. So if Tesla were to push up, and let's just say the technical standpoint, let's just say the market hypothetically started to push up despite us kind of missing on those deliveries. Sometimes the market could be so unpredictable. If we push up, we have resistance at 700. If we break that, it's 715 we could go to. And I think this is a key zone. Tesla would probably stay around here. I would be surprised if we actually push higher than that just for Tuesday alone. And if we start dropping, remember this, 680 is kind of like a support zone. If we break below that, then 662 is what you got to look out for. 662 to 666. Actually, I think 666 would be better because we've been bouncing off 666 for quite a bit of time. And if we somehow just can't hold onto like 666 and we end up dropping lower, we could end up dropping to that 656 range. But then we're so close to the gap. And if we are that bullish on Tuesday itself, we're most likely going to just keep dropping because of the deliveries reports and how Wall Street responds. So I'm anticipating that if we don't hold 666, Tesla's going to drop down to about that gap fill area, which is around 652. And I honestly think that, I mean, we could bounce there. I just think it's unlikely. We're more likely to bounce off 640 if it actually goes that low, which I just think is actually very possible after what we just heard. With that said, I know that we love Tesla. We know that this company has so much potential for upside for the long term. But just based off my analysis of the data, I just think downside is more likely to come for tomorrow. So don't panic. Don't be afraid. Once again, technicals look bullish. Technicals look like they should push this thing up, but I really think that it's more probable that the news kind of trumps the technicals. But the last thing I want to say is look, even if Tesla does somehow end up pushing up for next week, or I'm sorry, the upcoming week, I still think downside is going to be more likely by the later weeks, given the next earnings report that's coming out for Q2 and other things like that. The market is not in the best of states. A recession could actually be confirmed very soon within the next 4 weeks. And obviously, the big market makers out there, the big institutions, are going to take advantage of this news and use it to play retail, use it to make even more money off the spreads that they essentially sell every single day to us. And it's just their way of just taking advantage of these situations. So, with that said and done, right, technicals are suggesting we might fill the gap at 700 in a day. Very much possible. But then the news makes it really look like Tesla's going to drop tomorrow and in the future. I can't promise that. It just seems more likely. I do think a red line like this is a little bit more likely. I do think Tesla might actually fill the gap down as well. Tesla might go to about the 650s to 640 range. So just be prepared for that. I'm making this prediction based off previous historical data because when we have misses in our quarters or our deliveries, it's very likely we see a drop. So that's what I'm predicting. I want to thank you all for listening. Please have a great rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, and peace out.